So we must do two things, two great things together, to encompass that enormous new view that lies before us, but to encompass it within the framework of science, to see it within the whole categorical framework of science, and to see that these two are not separate, but that they are wedded. The bigness of the idea, the newness of the idea, the greatness of it is one with the structure of science, the structure of being itself.
And we don't need to add anything from outside, to introduce anything, any need from outside to God or to our fellow beings, as though we could find some fellow being who would be so powerful, so influential with God as to do something to cause God to act in a way that he's not already acting. This is the belief in a practitioner, isn't it? In many cases, that you find someone who's influential with God. But we've already seen God is not influenced by man. That we can't influence a being, the divine principle. If we cherish the desire honestly and silently and humbly, we get that sense of silently coming in, of the silence, the secretiveness, the right sense of what is a secret and what is a silence, that these are dynamic states within us. And to cherish our development, the whole development within us, the development of the Word, silently and humbly, it says that God will bless it. What on earth more blessing could we have than what we have seen up to this point? And we shall incur less risk of overwhelming, said that false sense of life, of the pouring forth of life, of just trying to overwhelm God, overwhelm ourselves, overwhelm everybody else with our torrents of words. Less risk of overwhelming our real wishes. And so God will bless it. What is the blessing? We get with the attractor in the field of life, the link to truth. Because the blessing of life is of the form of the consciousness of truth. It leads us right on to truth. And what we will see about truth is something further about the autopoietic system that we have become. That this increase of life must have a form within us. This continual law in operation of cause and effect, infinitely going on, that circular causality, that feeding back that life is, must find its form, and its form is consciousness. That being is conscious of itself. And I want to share with you from several of the writings that we had mentioned in the first part of this week, now some references that will help to enlarge our sense of this point of intersection. To be conscious is to be self-aware, isn't it? To cognize, to know that one knows. And actually this is exactly what they are finding out in the attempt to find a synthesis that will describe what life is, what actually a living system is, and what constitutes life. They see that cognition is the process of life. This is now Capra, Fritjof Capra, in The Web of Life, where he's giving the key criteria of a living system. And he says, cognition, the process of life, is inextricably linked to autopoiesis. These are these two aspects that we have seen. No, actually he's referring to autopoiesis and cognition. He says autopoiesis and cognition are two different aspects of the same phenomenon of life. In the new theory, all living systems are cognitive systems, and cognition always implies the existence of an autopoietic network. So he is brings out in his beautiful presentation actually that autopoiesis can be thought of as having three distinct aspects, what we would recognize as three distinct aspects. They are the three aspects that we find in the chapter prayer in the main tones of life, truth, and love. That autopoiesis as life is indicating closed, causal, circular process, circular organization, self-making, that the system is its own cause and effect. As truth, that autopoiesis means that the system is continually self-referring, perceptive, cognitive, autonomous, that it forms its own boundaries, that it contains within itself its own unique domain, that it is, in that way, self-assertive, self-affirming, and self-denying what it is. This is a closed system. So the autopoietic system, that which is of the nature of life, is also of the nature of truth. It is closed. In which way is it closed? It is organizationally closed, forming its own domain on the foundation of its self-organization. To be closed means that the pattern is complete within it. The pattern of creation, of having been created, is complete, just as we find that there are 6 days of creation, and that the 7th day has another purpose. It doesn't create. 6 days of creation. And so that autopoietic system is organizationally closed. It is, as we said, self-affirming and self-denying. It affirms itself as what it is, but it denies the entrance of anything else into it that would change its organization. And the autopoietic system reflects love. It is of the nature of love. It is open. Once finding its organizational closedness, it can be open to its environment. It reflects integration. It is self-integrated and integrated with its environment, with its universe. And so when we come to the tone of love, we will find that this is the accent on the open system, the openness of it. We see that we cannot be open before we are organizationally closed. Isn't that a gorgeous paradox between truth and love? We must be organizationally closed, and then we can be energetically, environmentally open. So the text will tell us, enter your closet, go into the closet. This is our organizational closeness. And then we must be, it's the law of being to be open. And that openness implies not only that the system within is integrated, but that there is then an outward expression of integrating with the greater and greater wholes, nesting within greater and greater networks. This is what the dynamic open system does. So through the system's process of circular organization as life, of organizing itself circularly, it becomes actually identical to the process of cognition.